would have been either abhorred or ridiculed. But today, the education of small children in methods of self-preservation is recognized as a humane proceeding.
U.S. citizen returning to the United States in the previous 14 days will be subject to up to 14 days of mandatory quarantine.
It's the Quarantine Call-In Show with your Kim DeSteels, Timothy Lovett, and myself, Laura Grant, and our special guest tonight, Grammy Award Winning speech from Arrested Development.
Woo!
Oh my God. Oh shit.
Welcome
Oh,
to the show.
how
Wow.
you doing today?
You look so great. Holy shit, your skin is so beautiful and you look like time hasn't even passed by.
Come on, yo, I'm staying on this show forever.
I
That's
know.
it.
I can't get over it because I remember you guys hit basically 91. I was in college in Tennessee when
Get out of here,
Tennessee, and I used to bring my cassette, kids. Remember the cassette tape?
Yeah.
I used to bring my
Yeah.
cassette tape and play it over and over and over again until
Yeah.
everybody in my
Yeah.
dorm hated me. But it was so good. Mr.
What part
Wendell.
of Tennessee were you at?
University of Tennessee, Knoxville. I only stayed there for a year,
Right on.
though. I was busy with other studies.
Got you. That's cool. Yeah, Tennessee is beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But I
Wait.
know that the song wasn't about being beautiful, though. It was not. Right.
no, not in the most part. No, it's not.
No,
You know what I'm saying? Like, do you know how that song came about?
I don't know
Yeah.
how that song came about. No.
Yeah, so I used to spend my summers in Tennessee with my grandma.
Ripley,
And-
right? You're from Ripley. or
Yeah,
live
well,
in-
actually, right outside of Ripley in a small town called Glimp, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And so very rural town. Anyway, every summer I would go there with my grandmother, and she passed away of a heart attack like years later. And so my whole family went to Tennessee for her funeral, and we were celebrating her life. Amazing woman. And then on our way back from the funeral, my brother died of
Oh,
an asthma attack.
Oh,
So the
God.
last place I saw both of them was in Tennessee. So
oh.
that's like when I rhyme the lyrics, my grandma passed, my brother's gone.
Yeah.
I never ever once felt so alone. That's all, like all of that is like just like running down what's happening and all of the vibes about that song. So that's
Wow.
where it comes from. Yeah.
Did you have any idea that that would be, the story that sort of tribute to your family members becomes the big hit? Like, this is it.
That's why, like, when everyone asks me like what's my favorite Arrested Development song, that will forever be the one. It doesn't matter what I've done since. It's just because of that story, like because of the meaning of the song, it just forever will mean something more than any other song I'll ever write, probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that story.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt. I thought you knew because you was like, yo, it probably wasn't about a beautiful thing. So I was like, okay, well, maybe she knows. So
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the way you sing it and the way you portray it in the
Yeah.
video, it's very clear to me that it's not a happy song, right?
yeah,
But,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, but that whole album was amazing, and it seems like I'm so impressed that you're still doing it. You guys are still touring, right?
Well, we tour, we record. Well, of course, during COVID, we're not touring at all.
Yeah.
We haven't.
Yeah.
In fact, our first show in a year is this Friday.
Friday,
This
right?
Friday.
Wow.
So that's our first show that we've had in a year's time, which is unusual for us because usually we tour like a lot, you know what I'm saying? Around the world, we do a lot of touring. But
Wow.
this year I released a solo album called Expansion.
Expansion.
And then last year, Arrested Development released our album, Don't Fight Your Demons. And it's like getting so much love that it's ridiculous. And I'm so excited about both of these projects. So yeah.
Awesome. Can we also talk about your most recent song, A Different World? 'Cause
Yeah,
it
that's
seems like you
that's
just
on my
wrote it.
solo album.
It is.
Yeah, I just wrote that. Like I wrote that the night of the insurrection of the Capitol.
oh.
Yeah,
The
and
word-
so like that's one of the things I love about technology is just being able to write something that fast and put it out that quickly. Because I was able to put out, like, I think it got out to all streaming services like 6 days later or 5 days later. So that
Yeah.
was cool. And yeah, it's about just the injustice that became more clear by seeing how police, the Capitol Police, the regular police, the riot police, how they treated a literal insurrection where they were wanting to hang the vice president of the United States.
Right.
They were wanting to kill Nancy Pelosi, other representatives. They crashed the White House, smeared, feces all over the place, Confederate flags in the hallways, everything, beating up police officers, killed people, and only one person was shot.
Right.
And the kid gloves that they use, and then the inside job of people even possibly helping them to know where to go, where to find the. So, I mean, this is just a curtain that needed to be pulled back in our country about the white supremacist underlying factors that are happening in our country. And it is dangerous to the entire country. It always has been. And I hope that insurrection reminded this country how deep it is.
Well, I mean, so clearly, and what blows my mind is that, right at that day, they were interviewing people like Mike Gallagher, one of the Republican House representatives, maybe, and he was saying that he didn't see it. Like, the question was asked, and he's like, no, I don't think that's it. I'm like, really? Like, Stevie Wonder could see that, like,
yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
there's just no, but yeah,
it's
so
crazy.
I appreciate that song. I appreciate all your activism. It seems like you stay
right
there in the front,
Thank you.
And so can we talk about Expansion? Because that's really exciting, and that's already out, right? February 6th?
Yeah, Expansion dropped. It's brand new still. It's probably been out a week, and it's my solo record. So like my solo albums, I tend to like do a little more singing than just rhyming, but I rhyme a lot too. And then it's more melodic. It's a mellow record. So I think like play Expansion, probably want to put it on like at your house, just chilling while you're doing housework or yard work or whatever you do. Like, because it's not like a real hype record. It's sort of just cool, great to drive to as well. So it's that kind of record. And
it's beautiful.
I like
beautiful.
Oh, you got a chance to hear it?
Yeah, Dance Alone. Dance Alone.
Yeah, Dance Alone. Yeah, exactly.
It's very like there's so many different grooves and vibes in this album. And
I agree.
It is really nice album.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's actually an older record than Arrested Development's record, which came out last year. So this record, other than the single A Different World, other than that song, this record was done like 2 or 3 years ago. Wow. So it was one of those things where I was just sitting on it for a while and just chilling with it. And it's crazy. Yeah.
It's funking great.
Funking great. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Exactly.
I just love it. I
love it. I love that you picked up on that. I love that. That's great. Yeah.
Oh. All right. So check it out. I how you doing, Speech?
I'm doing good too. What's up, bro?
I'm good. I mean, I'm looking away from, the screen and everything because I'm setting, I'm like working different screens and sharing this,
he's checking on his Tinder dates.
They're different platforms. So anyway, so I got to take it back before we get too far from this, man. I got to tell you, I'm a big fan. I mean, Tennessee, when that really changed my life. And that's when like conscious rap was big, and it was fighting like West Coast hardcore hip hop. And it was just, man, it was just like that Public Enemy, the De La Soul record, this, and then it was just like, I mean, you guys took it back. You had like, his name is gonna escape me, but the older guy in the video dancing and stuff like that.
OJ,
and it's just like, I mean, it was just like, it almost was like, I am not black enough for this record. I mean, they're spitting real stuff. You got, that was it. It made me want to. It made me want to be more conscious. Made me question things.
Word up. That's good.
And I really have to say that I really appreciate, even to this day. I made my sons listen to that record. And
that's awesome.
That's awesome. Like I want to show appreciation to you for that record, and that whole Arrested Development movement at that time, man. It really changed. Teachers couldn't tell me nothing at that point. They couldn't they couldn't tell me nothing. It was like,
That's cool. That's awesome, bro.
So
that's
yeah, cool. I just wanted to, I have to tell you, I have to say thank you for that, man, and show some appreciation.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
We
No
needed
doubt.
that too at that particular time because
Yeah.
a lot of us were, living in areas that were, Black people were scarce, and
Yeah.
to see you on TV in the group, and
Yeah.
being the Afrocentric vibe,
Yeah.
and it was just, I just can't even tell you. We just were thirsty for it and so desperate and so
Right.
needed it so badly. It was so great and so awesome.
That's
Whew.
awesome.
I remember when you were on SNL, and I was like, "This is it. This is it. They're on SNL."
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then they brought it
that was
straight to
amazing for us.
SNL. Yeah, it was beautiful.
That was amazing for us. We had Michelle Degocello helping us with that. She helped. She was the music director for me, and on that particular hit. And that was so memorable. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever been to the set of SNL or done it or whatever, but it's really live. So it's really sort of nerve-wracking because it's so frenetic. As soon as like you go to commercial, everything's moving around, all the sets are changing, everything's buck wild, and like, it's like 3, 2, and then it's like you just gotta go for it. And it's so like I don't know, it's just such a memory, man. Like just doing that show, you know what I mean? It's nothing like SNL. Like I've never seen anything like it. It's such a big production, but so live. And yeah, most of it is, at least. Yeah,
You don't have time to think. Yeah, you can't think.
No, you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta be ready and on your spot and just ready to do you. And there's no take two. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
what do you attribute to your longevity? Because that's not easy to be going for this long and continue to create and be relevant. And, how have you done that, do you think?
For me personally, it's just this inner passion. It's an inner fire. Not to mention the work that we do as a group. Like at least for me, I feel like there's still so much to do. And so I mean, I think it's just this passion. It's this burning passion. And I feel like the group hasn't really done everything we were supposed to do. You know what I mean? I feel like we sort of got cut short back in the 90s. And so I still feel a passion even today to sort of like finish the legacy. You know what I mean?
Right. That's right. Grunge kind of cut in and took over.
Grunge, gangster hip hop, everything sort of snowballed, and a totally different era of music sort of took over.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like, there was more for us to still do.
Awesome.
Well, but
Can I? Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I was going to ask you about the name of the group and what happened with the show and the TV show when they took your name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was one of the craziest nights of my life. So obviously we had the name before the TV show was even thought of, right? So it is a medical term. Arrested Development's a medical term. It's been in the medical field forever, but nobody in music or entertainment ever used it. And so when it was Super Bowl Sunday years ago, when the announcers of Super Bowl Sunday, and I was watching the Super Bowl, was like, yo, coming up next, Arrested Development. And I'm looking at my queen, and I'm looking at our friends, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So then it was like, oh, I love that group. I'm really glad they're coming out with something new. That's what the announcer said. And so little did we know it was some TV show. And so we immediately called, our managers and everybody in our camp, and was like, yo, this is crazy. There's some kind of TV show called Arrested Development. And the problem is with all of that is like, you do a trademark on purpose. You pay money for it. We trademarked our name in 93. So when you trademark, the whole point is you're doing business as. You don't want anybody else to take your business name. So it's like Coca-Cola, nobody else supposed to take Coca-Cola, you know what I mean? So even though it was a TV show, TV shows often do soundtracks. They do music related things. So Friends has soundtracks that's at record stores, or was at record stores when record stores were a thing. And so it was a big competition thing. Plus, we started to realize that a lot of other bands that allowed TV shows to take their name were buried under the TV shows. So like Living Color is a rock group, In Living Color was a TV show. Survivor is a rock group, Survivor the TV show. So there's a lot of examples of people forgetting about the group and only remembering the TV show version of that. So we were really pissed off about it, to be honest. And like for me, I had to go to court numerous times to try to argue for our right to be able to have that name exclusively. We ended up settling out of court. The show was already on, as I just explained. So we ended up settling out of court and working some things out. But yeah, it was crazy.
Damn,
Jason Bateman.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was crazy. And I think they did some jokes. I don't watch the show, but I think like the first few episodes, they did little like behind the scenes jokes about our group and like the whole beef we were going through behind the scenes. So I heard it was
There's like
funny.
four
I don't watch
four
the show.
episodes. Wikipedia has them listed. The
Oh,
four
they
shows
do?
where they
Okay,
where they
yeah.
reference it or something. Yeah. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So I never saw the show, but I was like, okay, I heard about this. Yeah.
It's wild. Wow. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah. Well, I was just my original thought was just I was just gonna make a comment about the about the record again, but this is the thing about that situation. It was like you guys really held it down against like when gangster rap was big, and that's what made it so amazing. Like Kim was saying, like where I'm from, it was mostly white, a white area in Ohio, and it was us trying to fit in. But then there were groups like you and Public Enemy that that didn't try to fit in. That was just them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what made it like, okay. And I started drawing, growing my hair out and,
Nice.
and then the medallions, the blue and the African medallions came in.
I know. You know it. Yeah. That's love.
My mom wouldn't let me walk around with the cane. I wanted to,
right. You wanted to do the cane. That's
think I wanted to. I wanted to be like X-Clan, but it was just that conscious, and then, like I said, it made you question, who you are. Like, it made you question as a black man, and it's like, okay, well, what am I missing? Like, how do they know this? And I never even had what they're talking about. I never even had the chance, to learn that. You know what I mean? That never came across my plate. So that's why I'm saying it was like, I don't know. I'm just fanning out at this point.
But it's cool. Like I think the thing that we always got to remember is why it wasn't coming across your plate. Like the fact that there has been Black movements ever since we got here. So there's been Black freedom and liberation movements ever since we got here, whether it be Nat Turner or whether it be Malcolm X or Dr. Martin Luther King or the Civil Rights Movement or whatever, which one you want to pull out your pocket. And the fact is, in our music, in that generation that you're referring to, we weren't aware of any of it. Right. And the fact that they were hiding all of that information, all of that pertinent part of U.S. history, forget Black history, it was U.S. history, it was American history, and they locked all of that from us. And so that's what I think is such a shame, that a hip hop crew who, initiate that thought pattern about, wait a minute, liberation. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Like, that whole thing, not just us, like you said, but so many others, X-Clan, Brand Nubians, Tribe Called Quest, De La, Public Enemy, Paris, so many others that were on, a tip of liberation. So I love it. I love the fact that it did what it was supposed to do.
Okay.
Right. Music is the teacher sometimes.
That's right. That's right.
And you, I don't want to put this aside, but you also did a lot of stuff with different politicians. You were there with Louis Farrakhan, you were there with the Clintons. And what was that like for you, getting on the political stage?
Well, it was interesting, all of those situations. We met up with Nelson Mandela in South Africa. We met with Farrakhan and on a Tom Joyner cruise. We met with Hillary Clinton on a tour that I did. That was actually my solo career. I did a tour with Hillary Clinton and Al Gore for about 5 cities or so. I was with Barack and Michelle Obama during their first run, and so on and so forth. So each of them was like special in their own way. Like Nelson Mandela, being in South Africa, period, right after apartheid was over, the feeling was tense. Like everybody was in an era just previously where they were separated from one another. The system was 100% different. And then you got a first black president, and you have a former freedom fighter as your president, and all the laws are different. People were wondering if this was gonna last, like if this was for real or not. And so they were like, just really on pins and needles. And the respect that they had for Nelson Mandela was unlike anything I've ever seen. I mean, people running, screaming, jumping, falling over each other to try to just get a look at him. And the inspiration that he, invoked in people was just outstanding. So we donated money while we were there. We shot one of our videos, United Front, while we were there. It was just one of the most memorable things I've ever had in my life. Just an incredible experience. And like Hillary Clinton was bugged out too, because that was my first time dealing with the FBI, the CIA, and like their whole security sweeps where they would unplug my sampler and unscrew it and make sure that there was no bombs or anything inside my sampler. They would search the tour bus, just things that I've never been privy to. Like usually in hip hop, we go do a show, or even if we do a show at a rock concert, it's never that heavy of security where they're unscrewing your samplers and your instruments and stuff like that. So it was just a whole nother level of America that I had never really seen before. And when I was performing for her, it was an audience that wasn't music lovers per se. They just were Americans of all stripes. I mean, white, Black, Asian, Native American, you couldn't, it was just like, unlike a hip hop show, it was more like a show for just America. Like you realize America's big and it's wide and there's a lot of folks under this tent. And it was outstanding. I mean, I had a great time. We kicked it with Hillary a lot of times. Her and Chelsea Clinton were cool. And so was Al Gore. It was real cool, real down to earth. We had a lot of good talks, on personal levels, and just chill back. And it was a fun tour. I had a good time, but it was definitely unique for me.
That's
and of course,
otherworldly.
Barack was like on another level.
I want to hear. Please tell
Yeah,
us.
we
Oh my
have to
God.
know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Well,
wanna
no,
hear that.
Barack is, I think we all now know how cool he is and how down to earth he is, how much of a people person you are. I mean, he is. And so like when he came backstage, because it was him, one of the shows we did with him was him, Oprah, Gail, Michelle, of course. And we were backstage and we had just gotten off stage, and Barack, who's tall as ever, I'm real short, I'm 5'4", so Barack is, really like towering, and so is Michelle. So they both come into the room and they're just dancing, singing, I am every day, so it's like, just to feel like, just the future president, because he was running to be president at that time, but the future president singing your joints, it just was surreal. And the first Black president, so everything about it was surreal. They were very down to earth, very cool. We took pictures and all of that type of stuff, but they was backstage with just us. So I love that sort of attention that we got too. I didn't get a chance to meet Oprah that day because she was on a private jet, which
Oh, yeah.
is how she rolls.
Of course she
So
rolled that way.
She did her speech on stage, and as soon as she was done, she was flown off to the next city. I don't know where she went, but I didn't get to meet her that day. But yeah, so it was fun. Like all of these situations were just totally different than each other. Yeah.
I mean,
So
that's where
awesome.
your music took you. Not everybody gets to do that. That's awesome. That
Yeah.
Not everybody gets to do that.
yeah.
You're so right. You're so right.
Wow.
It's like a pinch yourself type of situation. Like a lot of times when I look back at my life, and I do, it's like a pinch myself situation.
That you made a serious
Especially
impact,
doing
man.
like conscious music, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
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 Wow, that's awesome.
But speaking of that, like not everybody in the group were singers or played an instrument. Like how did that, like the group itself come about? If you just want to speak about that real quick. I know you yourself, were you always into music? I know like you were the
Yeah,
son.
pretty much since I was like 5 or 6, I was really heavy loving music and wanted to do it. Since I was 13, I started actually performing because I was a DJ, so I used to spin. But how the group got together is I was at I was born in Milwaukee. I came to Atlanta, Georgia, and went to this school called the Art Institute of Atlanta. And while I was there, I wanted to start a crew. And I put a flyer up, this dude named Tim, who I would later name him headliner because he's an amazing barber as well. And so my man Tim was looking at this flyer. We started kicking it. We became best friends. And our shows was like me and him. I was rhyming at this point, and he was DJing. And I would invite people on stage. So we would invite like African dancers, singers, poets, painters. And the show became this like almost like a sound system with a lot of expression attached to it. And that's basically what you see with Arrested Development now, because or especially when we first came out in the 90s, a lot of those people that we met at these jam sessions would end up becoming group members. And it didn't matter if they really sang or did other things. It was more about their overall creativity. Like Razadon was one of the members. He did our logo. He played drums. He's a Rasta, so he did like a lot of the chanting and stuff, toasting and stuff like that on our records. Airly Tari was just a vocalist that would just back me up mainly, but she made our clothes. So, so it was that kind of expression that we was pushing in the group, as opposed to everybody like a Wu-Tang where everyone's a rhymer, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't that type of thing. It was just a different energy we were coming on.
Like a beautiful family, like a tribe, you
It was
kind of go
like
with
a
each other.
community. Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like a community, and which is what I was hoping to accomplish, especially with bringing Baba involved. Baba's the elder in our crew, and rest in peace. He passed away in 2018. But like, Baba was just an older dude that I knew at another school I went to called UWM in Milwaukee. And he was a student there, but he was 57. I was only like, I don't know, 19 or so. And Baba was just like so cool, so down to earth. And I asked him to be in the crew. And at first he said, actually said, hell no, he didn't want to be in the crew. No. But of course, like if you ask a 57-year-old dude to be in like a trap music group today, it wouldn't probably go over well, you know what I'm saying? But that's how it was. He was just like, what do you want me in a rap group for? No, I'm good. And then later he realized he knew my parents, he knew my mom and dad. And not only did he know them, because I didn't know him, I never met him before. So not only did he know them, he was the best man at my mom and dad's wedding. And I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea. So when my mom and dad found out that I asked this dude, and when he found out who I was, he was like, well, I'll do it for, my real name is Todd. So he's like, I'll do it for Todd, and it's just, that's how it went down. So, and he didn't know it was going to blow up. Of course, nobody knew. We didn't know either. So, just him being involved with us was just sort of an experiment, really. He was much older, way more mature, way more totally different life experiences. But when we started to take off, he was like, "Yo, I'm riding. I'm on." So
You
we
like
went around
that.
the world with it. It was love. It was really cool.
I just love the
That's what's up.
inclusion and all the expression. Like, it's just so cool to have that,
It is. It really is. Like, I miss that. I miss that in music. But I love that with our group. Like, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? So
That's so dope. If you could do a duet with anybody right now, who would it be?
that's a great question. I mean, I would love to do something with Beyonce. I would love to do something with Drake, Kendrick Lamar. I'm doing something I've done something, and I'll be doing some more with Chuck D, but he's one of my heroes in music.
Nice.
Wow,
Look at
I
you.
Yo, yo, them is two of my
Prince was still
favorites. I ain't
alive.
even gonna lie.
know.
Yeah, Chuck D is. Yeah, he's definitely one of my hip hop heroes.
What was the
Okay.
weirdest tour for you?
The weirdest tour? That's a great question. Well, I mean, I've done a lot of tours over the years. We got booed. We've got booed a number of times, so I might as well bring up some of those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
What?
we did it wasn't a tour, but we did a show for Hot 97 in Jersey. Well, it was for New York, Hot 97, but their shows were in Jersey at a big stadium. And this was at the time when what I feel like we got the rug sort of snatched out from under us in the music world, where our record was doing extremely well, but Wu-Tang was coming up. Like P. Diddy and the whole like Biggie thing was coming, Tupac. It was a lot of different things sort of coming into play. And what we were having to say was playing less of a relevant role in the new thing that was coming. People was talking about private jets. They wanted to ball out. They wanted to have the suits. I'm a CEO. I'm a mogul. So it's like.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. He'll come back. Oh, speech, you're frozen.
Oh no.
And feel like that
There he
at Hot 97's Summer Jam. Yeah. So that was crazy.
Okay, wait, we lost a little bit of it because you froze for a hot second. So
Oh, okay.
we lost you at the part where you said that, they wanted to wear the suits and stuff like that and be CEOs.
Yeah. So like, that was during the Diddy days. Remember the flashy videos, the hyper videos, everybody flashing, saying they got the gold, the Gucci watches, the this, the that. So like, that was that energy. And it was just, our energy was opposite of that. So like, either you wanted to rock with that or you wanted to rock with us. I don't know why you had to pick, but that's how people felt. So we got booed during the 97 Hot Summer Jam, Hot 97 Summer Jam. And so I just laughed it off because I literally, the day we were on stage with that show, Gangstar was there, which is one of my heroes in hip hop.
Oh yeah.
De La was there, Tribe was there, Busta was there, Wu-Tang was there, who I was just getting to know because they were relatively new. And then so many others was there. So a lot of my heroes was there, which I felt great about. But then, so I was in the audience watching everyone else perform. We were one of the last groups to rock. And, but then when we got booed, I just laughed because I was just like, I don't know what's going on here, but we just got back from South Africa the night before.
Right.
We'd only been in America probably about, 15 hours at this point, still jet lagged, met Nelson Mandela, highlights of my life. And then we get on stage and get booed by the New York crowd. And if you remember, the hip hop back then was different. The South wasn't as established. So you had East Coast, West Coast. It was very much, that was before Dre from
Outkast.
So like that was before that whole movement started. So it was like, there was still this sort of animosity towards anyone trying to represent from the South and especially perform in New York. Yep. So it was a lot of issues going on and sort of just this thing going on. But that was definitely one of the weirder shows we ever did. Yeah.
That's so strange to come from the big high. And it's like, you never know. You just never know.
You never know. Like life can just be like, rah, rah.
But it went back up. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. No, like the shows after that was incredible, but it was just, it was one of those nights.
Wow. Can we talk about your filmmaking? I know you're a filmmaker, right?
Yeah, I do documentaries now. For me, it's always like, see, my mom and dad are both activists. My mom owns a newspaper. So this whole idea of publishing information is something that's in my blood, right? So whether it's publishing a story in her case or publishing a song, to me, it's all the same. You try to document the moment and document your feelings, get them out there. So for me, doing documentaries was just like an extension of the things that I believe in. So I did, the first documentary I did was called 16 Bars. And I went into a jail in Richmond, Virginia, and I worked on music for 10 days with the inmates that was there. And I call them residents. And so it was cool because it was totally like a new experience for me. I had been in prisons, in women's prisons before. I'd been in a prison before that, but just for a split second, but not for 10 days. And this was, nerve-wracking, but at the same time, amazing. Like once I got in there, just the experience was incredible. And so I filmed it all with my crew and we released it. It's on Amazon, it's on YouTube. It's called 16 Bars. And so that joint is so powerful. Like it's won so many awards and been in numerous film festivals around the world and nation. And I'm really proud of that project. And then I did another documentary that's just on YouTube right now. It's called Hoodwinked, The Nigga Factory. And that documentary is a mini documentary where it's like each one is about 11 minutes long. And right now I have 2 parts to it. And I think it's extremely powerful. I'm trying to wake people up to the 400-year marketing campaign that has been waged against Black people, that help people from around the world to see us in a negative light, help us to see ourselves in a negative light. Right. So I'm trying to address that big elephant in the worldwide room. So so it's called Nigga Factory.
And where you have it on right now? Where can we find it?
You can go to brotherspeech.com. That's my website. And you could get all the links. Like once you go there, you could just click on any one of these things I'm mentioning, because I do a few different things. And Nigga Factory is one of them. 16 Bars is another. My mother and I started a scholarship fund in my brother's name. My brother who passed away, I mentioned earlier, and his name's Terry. And we did a scholarship for him, and it's raised over $1 million. And we are helping young Black kids to get through college, and helping to pay their, so it's all good. It's like a lot of different things, but it's all on brotherspeech.com. Yeah.
Okay.
That's you know who I think you would get along famously with? Have you met anybody from the group Shy?
I think I have over the years. Yeah, I think I have. Why?
Because we had Dr. Garfield Bright on here, and I just think y'all would just really mesh and get along so well.
Kim loves Garfield. She loves him.
He's so conscious too, though. So I just feel like you two would just vibe all night. It would be great. But anyway,
I love to meet him. I may have met him. If I have, that's I apologize to him. But yeah,
it's a big connection for you.
Funny. Yeah, I love to connect with him. Maybe on social media, connect us. Just like tag us both on something. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Matchmaker Kim. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question in the name of Black history? And you totally do not have to answer this question. Okay. But it just is a question that I heard actually on the Breakfast Club, and it just made me ask myself this question. But like if they were to give us reparations, what does reparations look like to you? Like what would that be to you? Okay, that's how I answered that question.
Wait, what did he say? I missed it.
I missed it too.
We froze. He froze. Okay, I think I froze too. So if they were to give us reparation, what does reparation look like to you? Like, is it cash? Is it property?
Land.
Is it like land? Is it is it like school?
I know exactly what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah, for me personally, it has to be all of the above. I think it needs to be some cash. It needs to be programs that are guaranteed and only for Americans of African descent, who are descendants of slaves. So I think that it's fair to give various programs that only affect people that were affected by slavery, and cash for those people as well. And just retribution from all of the various hurt and pain. So there's so much that has to be changed, that can be changed. And I think all of that would constitute reparations in a real way. Mm-hmm. And there's great scholars, like I can't think of their names right now, but there's great scholars out there that have done some great work and research, Black scholars that have all the answers to what a great package would be for us. And if I was president, I would tap on the shoulders of those dudes and women and get the recommendations from them and just implement it. That's what I would do.
Seems like you're going to have to get on stage with Joe Biden, I guess. That's what's going to have to happen here to get that rolling.
That's right.
And get that going.
I hope so. I really hope so, because, I'm still very curious what's going to happen with this insurrection.
Yeah.
Because they've charged, well, first of all, it was thousands of people there. They only charged 200 or so.
Right.
And even we've learned from people like Zimmerman, I forget his name. I try to block his name out. The brother that killed.
Trayvon.
Yeah, Zimmerman.
Trayvon Martin. We've learned that people could be charged for a lot of things. It doesn't mean anything.
Right.
So until they're actually convicted of something, and until the sentences are substantial, it means nothing. And I'm afraid that, these people that just crashed the Capitol aren't going to get any real time. Many of them won't get time at all. Mm-hmm. And what that tells us is that our nation's not close to ready for reparations. We're not close to ready for justice, because they don't want to exercise justice across the board. They only want to exercise it against many times innocent Black people and even people that are guilty of something. They want to give us these long sentences. They're not prepared to do anything for these people who violently crashed the Capitol. So to me, I'm looking for that as sort of like a weather mark of where our nation is on this issue. Because generally speaking, there's been worse atrocities than what happened in DC historically, and these people have walked. So
Right.
what's going to happen? And are we serious or not? And to me, and are we serious about finding out where the leaks are, the moles are in the FBI, those that are part of this white supremacist reality? What are they going to do? So to me, I'm looking at all of that. Those are all telltale signs about how far our nation is. And even Biden, I love what he's saying with his mouth. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's willing to do.
Right.
And same with the Democratic run Congress and House. We'll see. We'll see what everybody wants to actually do.
I think that's smart. I think we're all kind of feeling that way. And I know you were a part of NAACP. Are you still like that? We sort of influence politics that way to make sure that we hold their feet to the fire.
Yeah, I mean, I just donate to them. So they've given Arrested Development an image award and stuff like that. But I've never been like an actual organizer in that organization.
Yeah. I just wonder if there are groups that you would recommend to sort of as watchdogs or as, the
I think
accountability.
NAACP is excellent. I think they're
Yeah.
great. I think they're great at watching everything and just keeping their eye on the ball.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thanks. What else do we want to ask about? I'm interested in also your kids. I know that your kids have grown a little bit and they are also creators, right?
Yeah, they are, both of them.
That's
I have
amazing.
2 kids, 2 biological kids, and one not truly adopted kid, but you know how sometimes you bring somebody in your house and they're like
Yep.
part of the family. So I have another child that's like that. And all 3 of them actually are creative. And so my son is 26, my daughter's 23. And like my son his stage name is Sage Coy, and he's a killer artist. He does like great music. I think y'all would love it. But I mean, he's young, so he's a millennial. He's like in that age group of like his style of music reminds me of what millennials love. You know what I'm saying? So it's fresh. It's real fresh. And my daughter, she's
Oh no.
Not again.
He'll come back. What is wrong with our Wi-Fi?
I do not know.
That's not on my end.
That might be his end.
Oh no. This is so dope. So let me just really put that in there. Oh, he's back. All right.
Yes. We missed the daughter.
go.
We missed it. Yeah.
You froze up.
yeah. So my daughter she's an actress, and she's
nice.
co-starring in an Amazon film. She's one of the leads in the Amazon film that's coming out starring Regina Hall. And
wow.
That's dope.
so I'm really excited about that. Yeah. So
What is her
she's doing
name?
her thing. She's in New York. Her name is Zoe Renee.
Okay, that's right.
Zoe Renee. Zoe Renee.
Yep.
And Jahi, my son's real name is Jahi, but his stage name is Sage Coy, and that's Sagekoi.
KOI. Okay, let me fix that one.
That's so
Thank
great.
you.
And the other child, the adopted child, did we get his name?
Bakari he's a rhymer and actor too, so he does both.
Awesome.
He just released a record under Bakari. It's fresh. And it's funny because like for quite a long time, he was dating this young lady who was like a social media superstar, like on World Star for teens or whatever. And so he's been like all over World Star, ironically. And it's like, because of who he dates. And so him and her life has sort of been like a reality show on World Star, but it's been interesting. It's been really
Wow.
crazy.
Thank you for sharing that.
So
Always
that's what he's,
interested.
yeah.
So
Are there any?
doubt.
Oh, go ahead. Sam.
no, go ahead.
Are there any groups that So like, I'm just curious. So, you're chilling at home. What's like top 5 songs on your playlist?
Honestly, I love jazz a lot. So like I usually throw on jazz. And then if it's new crews or new people out right now, wow. My house listens to a lot of Beyonce because my queen, she loves Beyonce. And then,
We all do.
Nothing wrong with
I
that.
listen to a lot,
I
I listen to a lot of Drake and stuff like that. Like I'm waiting for his new album to drop, see how that is. But yeah, I don't know. I can't really think of anybody that's like group oriented that I'm really like just constantly listening to. But I do listen to a lot of music. That's what's weird. But sometimes I just listen to stuff just to see what people are doing.
Yeah.
But I'd be lying to you if I felt like a lot of the new stuff inspires me as much as what I remember. So a lot of it doesn't inspire me the same way because of numerous reasons. So I'd probably that's probably a downer answer, but that's probably my truth. Yeah.
No, I think we all agree though in this age group that we love the old stuff and the new stuff is so damn scary and awful.
Not all of it. Not all
Not
of
all
it.
of it. Not, I'm not going to demonize all
Not
of it.
all of it, not all of it, but so much of it is. And so for me, and plus I'm a lyricist, so you got to know, like for me, I listen to lyrics. I listen to what people are saying. And I believe everybody, and I mean everybody, has something to say. So when I hear a song that I feel like misses the mark of, I'm not saying they have to be conscious, they could be whatever, but say something, just something. And I feel like so much of the music today misses the opportunity to say something. And when they lose that shine and that spotlight, I think they will regret it too. I think they will look back like, man, at commanding this type of attention, like I was able to command this crowd, this many people. And what did I say? What did I do with that moment? Because it's not everybody's moment all the time. It doesn't work that way. So you have it and then you don't have it. And then you have it maybe again and you don't have it. So what are you going to do with it? And to me, that's where I get lost sometimes with some of the new crews and new artists. It's like, well, okay, that was just sort of like nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you use it for?
Right. Like, what are you using your gift for? You know, like, what are you?
Yeah. What are you using it for? Like, what are you saying? What are you bringing out? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point? I don't know. That's how I feel.
Sometimes the linear shit is just easier, I think. So they just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah. Yeah, like I don't know if y'all have heard the new Arrested Development record, but I addressed that a lot on this new joint.
Okay.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna get the new
first song out, I go right into it.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna listen to that.
Keep it out. I
I'm
love to hear what y'all think about it.
I give it. Okay, so we got a question from a viewer. He says, "Who's your favorite Blue Note artist?" Will Stein says, "Who's your favorite Blue Note artist?" His is Horace Silver.
That's a great. Horace Silver's amazing. Lonnie Smith is great. Herbie Hancock years on Blue Note is great.
Oh yeah.
I listen to a lot of Blue Note. I collect their albums and album covers. So yeah, I mean, I listen to pretty much all of it. Because it's funny because when I was on EMI Records, EMI owns the publishing for Blue Note. So they literally gave me, and I was gonna look and see if I had it right here, because I'm in my studio right now, and they gave me boxes and boxes of Blue Note material. So and they would like sample it, use it, do it, whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
And so I just was like soaking it in, just loving all this Blue Note joints for years now.
Great music.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
That's dope.
Yeah, Will also wants to know what the portrait of you is. Who is the portrait behind you? Will's asking lots of questions tonight.
Yeah.
Word up. Okay, let me see.
Oh, okay.
Went out again.
Hey, this is my son when he was 5 or 6.
There you go.
That's his best friend at the time, Lindsay, who was 5.
Thank you very much for explaining.
Let me know.
Awesome. Okay, Will, that's good, right?
We're all in your business. Like, what's going on in the back here?
What is that in
What's
there?
that? I know. Whose guitar is that? Who signed that? You know? Did you get that from George Clinton? Whose is that? No. So I got one more question that actually pertains to the interview. Do you and your queen still do the victory spot? I've seen somewhere that you and your queen did had the victory spot. Like,
so Victory Spot is an art school that we started. My queen came up with the idea because, like, for years, obviously, I've been doing this for 30 years. So, like, I used to complain a lot about the music coming out and the artists not being like, no conscious artists being out there. And so she was like, well, why don't we start a school? and we can start helping artists to see their full potential and not be carbon copies of each other and all of this stuff. And so I was like, that's a great idea. Instead of me just talking mess about it all the time, let's go ahead and do something about it. So we opened this school called Victory Spot. It's an art school. We teach acting. I don't teach anything, but we hire like real, professors and stuff to teach acting, art, dance, voice, and instruments. So like guitar, bass, drums, stuff like that. And it's really great. Like my wife was there last night, or yesterday and last night. So
I love
yeah,
that.
it's still a
All
thing.
right. All
5.5 years we've been doing this, and it's been great.
All
That's
right.
That's so
beautiful.
dope. That is amazing. Yeah. Woo. All right. That is so awesome. Wow.
Wow.
I'm go ahead, Tim. I
Mm,
just wanna ask what so when you and your queen are Netflix and chill, what kind of movies do you watch?
A
I'm nosy
lot.
as fuck.
No, it's fine. Like we watch a lot. Like she loves love stories. So like she gets into like her favorite movie is You Got Mail, I think it's called You Got Mail.
mhm.
And
Okay.
so that's like her favorite movie. And we watch stuff like While You Were Sleeping and stuff like this, like when she's in control of what we're watching.
Lots of
And then
Billy
when I'm in
Crystal
control,
going on.
exactly, yeah, exactly. When I'm in control of what I watch, like we like a lot of like well, I personally like sci-fi stuff, so I like Terminator and Terminator 2 and all of that type stuff. Like I like anything that has to
Okay.
do with time travel. I like all of that type of stuff. So yeah, that's what we do. And like recently, I'm watching a lot of TV more than I usually do because of quarantine.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating though sometimes. Like I love the story writing. As you know, I make documentaries. I'm writing a script with a partner of mine named April for Arrested Development. So I'm really studying movies and trying to check it all out. But it's frustrating too as a Black person because a lot of the stereotypical roles that we're playing, or a lot of the ratio is so small of Black people in most productions, so that if there's only one or two Black people and one of them's like a hardened criminal or a
Yeah.
super evil person, it never adds up. Like it's always feels so oppressive because in most productions there's tons of white people in it. So if there's an evil white person but there's 50 great white people, then it doesn't feel so bad. But if there's only two Black people in it and one of them's like, I don't know, a prostitute and the other one's like a murderer, then it just doesn't feel great. And so I try to tell people that all the time. Like it feels so um you know like the propaganda strong. Like
Yeah.
it's just so it's frustrating a lot of times watching stuff.
Are you a Tyler Perry fan? Yes or no?
Yes. And
Okay.
it's a complicated answer because he's here in Atlanta. I see his revolutionary moves and
Yeah.
I'm always inspired. So also, it's not that I like every movie or think he's done. There's some things he does that to me are the epitome of coonery and buffoonery.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there's some things he's done that's deeply moving and very important. So I feel like you got to give him the same amount of grace that people give a Cube, who in my opinion, has done some buffoonery and coonery and has
Yeah.
done some really good stuff. So to me, and even Spike Lee, who to me has done some stuff that's like, yeah, that wasn't too good. And then he's done some classics. So
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the fact that he's the only dude though that owns the biggest
Yeah.
Hollywood lot, including Warner Brothers and all of that, Black man doing some great things. I respect him. I'm always going to salute him. And I think his game is strong. And he came up with a primarily Black audience doing plays, and I respect that hustle. He came up in a revolutionary way, and I respect him. And people that don't, they're just stupid. Because to me, you ain't got to like his stuff. I'm not saying you got to like his stuff. But if you can't respect the game of what he's done, then I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
you got to respect that. Like, that's how I feel.
Okay, good. That's a great answer
We
because
like that
we're
answer.
fans. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
fans. We're like we love him.
We watch all this stuff, but yeah, but
Yeah,
I
we
appreciate that. Yeah. And I like the
That's
way
how.
I like the way you think about things because it's not polar, like you're not like some of these folks who are just polarized. Like it's like one way or like he did that one thing and I don't want to see anymore. It's like you're very fair and balanced about
Ah,
how you see things, right?
I feel like he's done too much great stuff. I mean, the man has done some really amazing feats, and I just respect it. I really do.
He made a lot of millionaires with those Black actors and actresses, more than any other entity on earth.
Cool. Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah. Where are y'all based out of? Where y'all live?
We're in Western Massachusetts, which is really way out there in the kind of in between Boston and Albany, I guess.
Okay.
Far
Wait,
away.
our claim to fame is like, so Dr. J played at UMass.
Oh, word up. That's it, Dr. J.
Dr. J.
And we are in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
That's right. It right. It was discovered here. Is that
in
right?
Springfield, yeah.
In Springfield.
And many jazz musicians played on the UMass campus and were professors at the time. Max Roach, Yusef Lateef, like a lot of people came through here.
Avery Sharp.
Yeah, Avery.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Where are you at right now?
Is Atlanta?
I'm in
Atlanta, right?
Oh, Atlanta. Oh, yeah, you did say
So,
that.
like,
Georgia, right?
Fayetteville, yeah, Fayetteville's like right outside of Atlanta. So it's like about 20 minutes outside of Atlanta.
Okay.
Wow. Well, I hope that as you start planning new tours that you think about coming out this way, because we sure would like to see you. And we need you out here, to be
We're
honest.
thirsty.
We really need you. We really need you. Yeah. Yes. But it's just a pleasure to meet you. I'm so grateful that you came on. We're just so fanned out tonight. I think we're not going to be able to sleep.
Y'all, thank you for having me. I really had a good time. Like, y'all are cool back people and just fun to talk to. So like, I don't like every interview, but I like this one. So
that means a lot. That means a lot.
And just so you know, when you was talking about how the group got together, and you know your friend Tim, I'm gonna edit that out. I'm gonna edit it so it's gonna just say Tim, so everybody gonna think that you're talking about me. Like we best
friends.
We best friends now.
Friends.
So
exactly.
Thank you so much. Everybody get expansion and blessings to you and moving forward in all that you do. Thank you, Speech, for coming on.
And before
Thanks,
we go,
y'all stay strong.
Is there anything else you want to promote before, tell us to look at? I mean, go get, you got a book coming out, anything else you want to promote before we get out of here?
A lot of things going on.
Yeah, so no, I would just say, well, first of all, I want to shout out my queen. She's starting a Yogi Juice Bar. She's starting an all natural juice bar, and I'm fired up for her. Of course, my Victory Spot peoples and Arrested Development, always got to shout them out. And then my fam, my daughter, my son, and I know I'm forgetting somebody, but anyway, brotherspeech.com is where everything is. And pick up the Arrested Development album too. Don't Fight Your Demons.
Don't Fight Your Demons.
Okay.
All righty
Right.
then. Ready to close out?
Any U.S. citizen returning to the United States will be subject to up to 14 days of mandatory quarantine.
Okay. We got that vaccine, third eye clean, we Visine. Dancing off the top rope, we Dougie off them high beams. Running hard like track meets, debutantes in back seats. Niacin for player B, my piss test with 5. Double farbs on planet Mars, they surf the net, we surf the stars. Quarantine in Zanzibar, breathing on the masses. Paper like